we are developing students for the industry, career technical education, so that they become our replacements.
These young people have chosen this opportunity to get a jump start on their career.
They'll have a better idea about what they want to do and what they're good at by the time they leave high school.
There's some great opportunities for these students that are coming out of the career and technical programs from Henrico County.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of Henrico CTE. Now I am Rashawn Garnett, and with me, guys, this time he came back.
I'm back.
He's
Mike
back.
Roberts.
It's
I'm
Mike
back.
Roberts. It's Mike Roberts.
The pneumonia's almost gone.
The pneumonia's almost gone.
It's not COVID. I know
everybody flinched and said, "What?
COVID.
No, get him out of here. No, quarantine, Mike. Put him in a bubble." No, seriously though, I'm glad you're feeling better though, Mike. And
I'm glad I'm feeling better too.
Glad to have you back, my friend. So this is the second episode, Mike, we've done here in familiar territory. Why don't you tell the people where we are today?
We are at Colonial Webb. Our second podcast we ever did was here.
Yep.
And it's great to be back. It's great company.
It's great company, and we had an opportunity that time we were here to sit down with Mitch Haddon, president and CEO of Colonial Webb. Shout out to Mitch. He came by and said what's going on.
He came and said hi, yeah.
And he also has this charming cutout of himself.
Up at the front, in the front office, yes.
He said apparently it was more of a surprise. It was just as much a surprise to him as it was to us walking in one day. He just came in the office one day and you just see this cutout of him. He really looks really dapper, right? He's got the tuxedo on and the mask on, to go with the situation of the time.
What day of the week was his tuxedo day?
I don't know. We might have to stop by his office and ask him what day is tuxedo day. I might have to bust mine out for that and come by for Colonial Webb's tuxedo day. All right, guys, before we got some more guests for you from Colonial Webb, some folks working in the industry here, the skilled trades industry. But before we do that, I want to remind you guys, check us out on all our social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all at the handle Henrico CTE. Also check out henricocte.com to stay up to date on everything we have going on. Mike, tell them where they can find the podcast.
You can find the podcast at all of your major podcast venues, Spotify, YouTube, not YouTube. Oh my gosh.
Hey, wait. We do YouTube.
We do. That's
but it's
right.
Not like
we are doing the recordings on YouTube.
Pat yourself on the back right there.
Yeah. I need to start adding that.
You got this.
But you can find it on Spotify and Google and Apple and also the majority of the minor podcast venues also. So check us out. We are in, I think we're up to 26 countries now that are listening to us. We're over 5,000 fans, and we're growing every day. But no one is waving at us when we're walking down the street.
No one is. Not quite. We're not quite there yet, Mike. But we will get there, dude. We're going to get there one day. You got to believe. All right, guys. Now that all the housekeeping is out of the way, let's get to our guests.
Where are we going?
Mike, we just talk, man. That's what we do here. All right, guys. So 4 guests with us here today, and I'm going to go down the list. And if I mess up names, you can get on me during the show. I completely, I encourage that. We're like, hey, Rashawn, what was that? That is not even close to my name. Trust me. I got to get it right, and get it tight. All right, today we have with us Peyton Ford, BIM Supervisor, Sarah Lambeth, Service Coordinator, Michelle Blaney, Plumbing Apprentice, and Amber Taylor, Psm Coordinator. And all of these wonderful women are a part of the Colonial Webb family. And I want to say thank you guys so much for making an appearance here on Henrico CTE Now. Who wants to give us the background on Colonial Webb? Colonial Webb company's been here for a long, long time. I see some heads nodding like yes, no, maybe so, no. We're going. Why is everybody pointing at Peyton?
So
like what's
everybody
going
has
on
to
here?
look at me because I'm probably the oldest one here.
All right, so for the listeners who maybe have not heard of Colonial Webb, just give us a little bit of background about Colonial Webb and what type of services they offer. Ms. Peyton, thank you so much.
Oh goodness, I think what don't we offer? Honestly, we have a plethora of what we can do. I work in our new construction department where we do all new construction from data centers to hospitals to schools.
So from what I understand, you guys do a whole bunch of work in the HVAC area.
Mainly we work on HVAC and plumbing. So we have a service department, special projects, which is smaller projects depending on the price.
Okay.
The new construction, and of course we fabricate all of our stuff as well.
Awesome.
So
Colonial Webb has a lot going on.
A lot going on.
So when you say fabrication, like doing the sheet metal work and the duct work, that type of thing? Okay.
Yes.
All right, now we're going to get personal, guys. I'm going to talk about your lives and what you guys actually do here for Colonial Webb. And I'm going to start with Amber Taylor. Tell us a little bit about your daily duties and to state that title again. I said a lot of titles with names, and I want people to really understand, what the women at the table are doing here on this podcast. So, Amber, just tell the people, your title and what it is you do on an average day, if there is an average day for you, right? Sometimes it's not like that, but yeah.
So I am a Psm Coordinator, and essentially all that means, well, not all that means, but what it means is that we deal in process safety management for ammonia systems. Ammonia, whether you're aware of it or not, it actually has a lot to do with how you cool and keep food frozen in order to transport it from point A to point B.
I did know that.
So, yeah, but it's a very niche kind of thing. Well, because it is a caustic chemical, the government requires us to have a special division in place which monitors this. So making sure that rules and regulations are abided by, making sure that your equipment's in good operating order, things like that. My job in being a contractor is I go into these facilities that have these ammonia systems, and I help the facility make sure they are in compliance.
Okay.
So we develop these reports for them and turn it over to them, which results in them being ahead of the game.
Okay.
So if OSHA comes in, OSHA says, hey, we found A, B, and C, they can say, we already know about it. We've got our list. We're working on it. So it helps to prevent them from incurring fines and, all kinds of different things that could put them in a bad place.
Right. And you deal a lot with OSHA, like you mentioned.
So somewhat. Like, if I have a customer who, hey, they didn't get to their list in time, or that list has been sitting there a little bit longer than it should have, they'll call me and say, hey, Amber, we need you here now. Like, you got to show up.
All right.
So the average day for me, I don't have one.
And that's something we find a lot
Yeah.
here. And, some people actually prefer that, right? Not to have an average day. But then you find on the other side of the spectrum, someone saying, hey, I do want to come in and know maybe what to expect a little bit coming in through the front door. Right, Mike?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what a lot of students say, is that they're looking for those types of careers where it's something different. They're always being challenged. So that's awesome.
Yep.
All right. Now let's go ahead back to Ms. Peyton. Tell us what your title is and what you do here at Colonial Webb.
So I am a BIM supervisor, which works in the virtual construction department. And my department basically draws all of the systems we construct in new construction in 3D.
Wow. So is it like architecture maybe to a certain degree, or am I hot? Am I cold?
You're designing
in
the
between.
In between, okay.
Yeah. So the architecture is given to us. We actually draw,
okay.
so the ductwork and the lights and everything, that's what we
okay.
draw. And we put it
they're doing the mechanical
into-
part of that, what you're saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So they're
Yeah, it's a part of it.
Oh,
Yes.
you guys are kind of like doing the bones.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Okay,
exactly.
so the architecture is
and
all-
what my team does is we take all of those components and put them together in 3D. So you have the building digitally, and you can go through everything, see what works, what doesn't work, if we have to make any adjustments. And then once everything works, by talking to all the outside trades, architectural, structural, fire protection, electrical, anything you can imagine that's in a building, we then send it to our fabrication, and we get everything built and installed quicker. Makes for a quick and easy process.
How did 3D change your job on that particular part and the planning stage?
And how does it help with things being like it is right now in the world? I know we kind of hit you with a left and right of a question right there.
I was actually lucky enough to come in when it was already 3D.
Oh,
So
that transition. What was it like?
yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to see any of the woes of that. I do hear about it from a lot of the guys that I work with, but in my opinion, I think it's made building quicker.
Okay.
Not only that, but because everything is smart, we can draw everything to how it's actually going to be built in the field, and that way there's minimal mistakes.
Right. It kind of gives you it gives you a little bit less room for error when you can actually see it down in 3D.
Yeah. When it's in 3D, is it if somebody goes and tries to run a water line right through a piece of duck, doesn't it stop you? It won't even let you do it, right?
No,
there should be an error.
Oh yeah, you can draw
you could do
each other all day.
Oh, no, come on, it's got to be smarter than that.
Yeah, no.
And we did a big warning shot or something. Warning.
That's the fun part of my job is I get to find all those and tell people to fix it.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I get to tell people what to do all day.
Sounds wonderful.
Awesome.
Sounds wonderful. All right, Sarah, your turn.
So I am a service coordinator. I currently handle about 16 technicians, from scheduling maintenance to service, a lot of fire putting out. Much like Amber said, not really a typical day. It's just whatever arises that day. Sometimes therapists for the guys, who just kind of hear about the woes that are going on in their lives and, work with them. One of the ladies in the office recently described what we do as like project managing a bunch of concurrent small projects, and that was a pretty accurate description because you have to see it through from like the start to the finish and making sure the customer's happy.
That's got to be kind of rewarding in a way though, right? Just to see something from the beginning and then know all the little steps and that goes into it, not only dealing with like the physical projects but also dealing with the people involved. So it's got to be rewarding to see the end result.
It is when the customers call us, there's typically a crisis or some sort of problem that they're experiencing, and to be able to put the pieces in place to get that resolution for them, it's very rewarding.
Absolutely. And now Michelle Blaney, what is it that you do here for Colonial Webb?
Well, I'm actually, I work in the fab shop that they were just talking about. I'm a plumber, but I try to remain kind of versatile. I do some sheet metal, and I'm just recently learning how to weld, and I'm kind of just like all over that fab shop for real.
Oh, wow. Welding. That's like the fire thing, the thing with the
and
the sparks and the cool stuff, right? Like,
look,
come on.
I'm going to be honest.
With
I'm
the
not
shield?
sure if it's fire or if it's electricity, but it's something like that.
Fire results in the electricity. The arc, yes.
Yeah, it's one of those, yeah.
It's really, really, really
hot.
Really?
It's so hot you can't look at it.
Hot. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're going to talk about the best parts of your job, right? You get up in the morning to do. You're excited to do this. That makes you say, hey, I want to stay here in this profession. And we'll start with Peyton.
I would have to say, well, two things. The people, everybody I work with is great. I came in not knowing anything, fresh out of school, and every single one of the guys have come in from the field. They're tradesmen, and they started drawing, and they taught me everything there is to know, and of course I'm sure there's more they need to teach me. And they were just great. They were accepting. They did everything wonderful. And I'd also have to say, actually seeing the buildings from digital, well, contract drawings to digital that we've drawn, and then actually being in the field and seeing, like, you can know where you are walking through a building without any walls because of the ductwork or the plumbing that's running through there.
Oh, wow.
Just because you've seen it all digitally first.
That's a pretty cool perspective to have right there, Mike.
I mean, definitely.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it in that way. All right, Amber, what's your favorite part about your job?
So part of my job is I have to go in and I have to inspect these different facilities that I deal with, which often results, initially with the guys who are hesitant because, they're always terrified, hey, you're going to come in and give us a bad report card, and like no one wants to be told they're doing a bad job.
The safety person coming through, you kind of get that that reputation, yeah.
But being able to be a contractor where I can say, look, guys, I'm here to help you get money from corporate so that we can make this place safer for you. You have better working conditions, and then seeing them transition from super defensive to, hey, let me show you all of our secrets, so we can get some money. It's pretty awesome because they get really excited about that, and I know that I'm able to help them.
All right, Michelle, favorite part about your job of being an apprentice?
I'd have to agree that it's the people. Like I have the best bosses ever. Between the whole shop manager Ron and my boss Jeff, they inspire me. I don't know, like they have so much knowledge, and I came here and didn't really know anything. But now I feel like I could just run the whole entire shop, and they're just super good to me. I feel like I owe them my best. I feel like when I come here every day, I give it absolutely everything that I have because they gave that to me when I came here. You know what I mean? I didn't sit in college or try to go a more schooly route and have a more high up there job, which would have been cool. That's awesome. But it was cool that I could kind of like pick it up and run with it in a different direction and have people that are like leading me and showing me exactly like how I can succeed on this path, you know? So it's the people for sure.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to have. Having good leadership, especially when you're starting off in a career, is key really to how you're going to do down the line, I think.
Yeah, those are the best companies to work for. I think I've had my share of experiences of working for really good companies, and I working for the school system. This is my first government job, I guess I could say. So I've had plenty of experiences working in bad places and good places, and the best times you had and the ones that you put the most work out is the ones when you're working for good people and having good teams. And I think that all has to do with the upper management and basically making sure those teams are there and in place for everybody. And I think it's awesome to have that.
You see it with anything, like you see it with teachers, certainly your bosses. When you feel like they have your best interests at heart, then you tend to work a little bit harder. All right, Sarah, your turn. Tell us your favorite part.
I'm going to jump on the bandwagon and say it's people here, the leadership, the peers that I work with, helping each other out of jams and stuff that comes up, and again the rewarding aspect of being able to solve problems for customers.
I think that just coming off of a couple weeks ago, we had the Women in Construction Week. I think it's just awesome to hear these things.
Yeah.
I mean, because this is not a traditional type of a job in the past. I think it's becoming more. And from the research I've done, I mean, it's growing. And in the past couple of years, it's made a big jump. We were in the single digits. Now we're finally getting in the double digits. How many women are in the construction industry? And it's across the board. It's not just laborers. It's up to management and engineers and just and owners.
Yeah, when she said supervisor, I was like, okay.
So it's amazing, and there's so much. Go on YouTube. There are some amazing stories of women who have gotten into the construction industry and in any field, any of the trades, and how well they're doing and how much they're enjoying it. So it's definitely something that I'm hoping that our students and other students across the country should really take in consideration.
Yeah, this is something that we talk about often on the show, and sometimes when we're out there talking to the students, that the trades field is not a male-only sport. You know what I mean? You can be a woman and you can excel. And really the proof is in the pudding, right? The proof is in the pudding. Well, just sitting across the table from us, Mike. Like,
talk to our teachers. Yeah. The young women that are in their classes, the ones they get to brag about the most, because and it's for many different reasons, the organization skills and actually getting out there and busting their butts and getting the work done and learning, and versus just sitting there going, they're coming in 100% every day. So yeah, it's just, that's all I've ever heard. And we've had some great, you and me have met some of our outstanding lady students and that are, we're following them, and they're out in the trades. They're doing the work and learning the skills and getting their apprenticeships, going, and they're doing great. I mean, we just did some profiles just a couple weeks ago.
Yep. Got to highlight the women that are doing well, so maybe more women will follow suit and get into this wonderful profession and wonderful industry here. So, guys, on the topic of profession, on the topic of industry, I've heard a couple people mention that they've been here for a while. How long are we talking here? I think it was Peyton that said, I've been here. Look at Peyton. Peyton was hiding behind her mic, guys. You can't see it. She was like ducking down, but no, I can still see you,
Why
Peyton.
you keep coming back to me?
I can still see you. So
you're at the head of the table.
There it is.
I am. I don't know why I chose this. Power issues? No. No. So I've been here 12 years.
Oh, wow.
It'll be 13 in December.
What did you start doing here? Is this what you're doing now is what you started with?
Kind of, more or less here than where I am now.
Okay.
I started as a BIM technician with my boss at the time, who taught me everything I know. He was absolutely wonderful. He had just started himself, because when we both started, the BIM department was new to Colonial.
Okay.
BIM itself was newer in the industry, especially for subcontractors. Architects and engineers had been using it for a little while before that, but as a subcontractor, it was fairly new, and he had only been here 3 months and it was already overwhelming. So they hired me by happenstance. I didn't apply for the job. I applied for another job through school.
Did you have to have college experience? Did you have to have college to get into the door of where you're at?
I did, yes.
You did? Okay.
Yes. But, yeah, I applied for another job and actually interviewed for this job, and
Surprise.
Oh, wow. You are.
Here we are.
12 years later, and how have you seen the software, I guess, help the industry? How have you seen the industry evolve over time as a result of growing and using that software?
So the particular software I use on a daily basis has changed with things that it's able to do, but it's still the same actual software. But when it comes to drawing, that has changed significantly from when I was in school to when I started to now. Now we use Revit, which is by far, oh my God, my boss would love that I'm saying this right now, better than anything we've ever drawn with, because you only have certain capabilities with AutoCAD and Inventor and other programs, but with Revit, because of where the industry's going, everything's trying to be smart.
Right.
So we have these 3D buildings that are smart, but with Revit, you can embed that information in it. So when we turn it over to a customer, they have every capability possible to maintain their building, view their building, rebuild their building with this program.
Yeah. So when they get it, it's a lot more user friendly for someone who's not necessarily
For the next
familiar
step,
with
the next contract.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Absolutely. And Revit, you mentioned Revit, Mike, and actually the kids in CAD, our CAD, we have a CAD class.
Yeah.
And they actually are using Revit's one of the things that they use.
Awesome.
That's awesome to hear. I was going to go back and ask the teacher.
Yeah, they actually.
I'm glad you know.
Yes.
They actually do use Revit. That's why that is awesome to hear it being actually applied outside of the classroom. So
Every
students,
day.
pay attention in those Revit lessons. Okay. All right. You might end up where Peyton is. All right, Amber. How long have you been here with Colonial Webb?
So I have been here going on 6 years now. I actually started in the accounting department. Sat in there for probably a year and a half, and it was like, I got to do something else. Like I was,
we find that accounting's like really for somebody, or really not for somebody.
I was definitely a not. And so the position opened up with PSM, and I'll never forget this interview or conversation that I had. I applied for the position, and the supervisor at the time, he was doing my interview. He said, "You have any more questions?" I was like, "Yeah, well, what exactly is my job description? What am I going to be doing?" He goes, "Well, I can tell you, but you're not really going to understand. Do you still want the job?" Sure, why not? Let's give this a go. It's got to be better than what I'm doing now. So
you really wanted to get out of accounting.
Yeah, I really wanted to get out of accounting. And don't get me wrong, like that department is fantastic. I love everybody in there. It just wasn't for me.
Absolutely.
So I started with PSM.
And accounting is a good profession in itself, but like I was saying earlier, if it's for you, it's for you. But if it's not,
Yep.
It really is not.
Well, we interviewed, I can't remember her name.
Katina Downey.
Yes,
certified
Miss Downey. She,
accountant.
I mean, remember she said that she and her friend both went to college to start accounting. Her friend dropped out. She didn't. She loves it. Her friend thought she loved it.
Yeah.
Found out she didn't. And that happens. How many people go to college and ended up either changing their majors, right? Or they drop out altogether and never finish. They end up spending all that money, and then they don't come out with anything.
Yeah, so I mean, there's really no harm ever in trying something.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Deciding
to go ahead and
be a lifetime learner.
Lifetime learner. Always trying something. Always trying something different, and then don't be afraid to shift gears, right, and go another direction. All right, Sarah, your turn. How long have you been here with Colonial Webb?
I have been here 2.5 years, so I'm still a relative baby.
Okay.
I've been working in the industry since I was 19, back in 2001, but.
Oh, wow.
I had a small business. It was a family business, and this is my first big world job. So
what was your first duty when you first got into the industry, in the family business you were talking about?
Accounting.
Okay.
The irony.
Ironic.
Also not for me. I'm more of a problem solver, and I wanted to do a little more hands-on. So I've done a little bit of everything: project management, been out in the field with the guys a little bit, warehouse management, and landed here.
I did this by accident, but I think I've kind of gone like in descending order, like from the most.
Yeah.
To least. I did that on that. Yeah. I should have left it alone and made it seem like I knew what I was doing.
Did you go to college before you started working, or you went straight out of high school? Great.
Yep.
Okay.
Straight out of high school and into a family business. Now, was your family business centered around HVAC? Or?
Yeah, it was residential, light commercial, HVAC, and plumbing.
Okay.
So worked there for
local.
Yep, they were local. He retired. My stepdad retired and sold the business, and I moved over with the people that bought the business for a couple years, and then this opening happened here, and one of my former technicians was working here at the time, and he reached out to me, and the rest is history.
Here you are 2 years later. All right, your turn.
On the 2nd of April will be my 2 years. I feel like I've been here forever, but it's only 2 years. So before that, I did a little bit of residential plumbing. It was just a small local company, and yeah.
So where'd you get started? Did you take any tech classes in high school?
No, I come from like a family of where everyone decides that they just want to work and do labor type stuff.
Right.
And so I didn't really like go the college route. My sister, she went a nursing route, so it's cool. But like the men in my family all did construction and stuff like that. So like I said, I made some like bad decisions in my younger years, even though I'm still a baby. So it was just like I went a different course and made the best of it. So, you know.
Yeah, Mike didn't even think you knew who Larry King was.
See, I'm 20. I'm
sorry,
27
that
now.
was a mistake. I am so sorry that I'm gonna hear that.
I'm gonna keep bringing it up.
But I didn't go to college either, so.
Yeah.
You know.
And you don't always have to. Like some
No.
people do, and it like works out for them. But then, like y'all said, some people do and build up a whole lot of debt for a whole lot of nothing. So
Exactly.
I guess you just do what you can.
Well,
Exactly.
Well, me and Mike, we tend to be of the idea that you should go to college if that's what you want to do requires, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
if you say, I want to be a teacher, college is required for something like that. But if you feel like you want to work with your hands, if you feel like you want to do something in the skilled trades, then you can go ahead and go that route.
Mm-hmm.
Get into an apprenticeship
Or if
like
you're
you're
just
doing.
like not good at school at all and you just can't get it, like you can do that too.
Yep.
You could also do
Well,
that
because
as well.
well, it's just like our classes, it's where your traditional classroom sitting at a desk with an open book, or you got the whiteboard up, watching stuff go on, versus our programs where they're actually out in the lab or in the field learning what it is they're going to be doing in the trade they've chosen, and this is their tryout. Is this what I want to do? Is this the field I want to go into? Is it something else? Is it accounting? Is it that you want to,
Is it
then
not
you'll
accounting?
jump to is it not accounting? It's an opportunity for students to try something out so that they can maybe avoid the little side path so that maybe they could end up where they wanted to in the beginning, quicker.
Yeah,
it just depends.
Exposure is a key, right?
Yes.
Exposure is a key. Getting the information out there, that's one of the reasons we wanted to start this podcast, so the students know what's possible, what can be aspired to, but trying different things and exposing them actually physically to those things and saying, I really do like accounting, or
And
I'm good
also, so that the parents get to hear, avoid the tunnel vision on where I want my child to go, and kind of listen to them a little bit.
All right, so we know how long everybody's been here. Now we get to talk about favorite projects, right? If you have any favorite projects, okay? And again, we're starting with Peyton, because I like picking on Peyton.
You do.
So we're starting with Peyton. What is your favorite project?
She's thinking she should have changed chairs.
She's like, hey, why? As soon as I look to the left, I looked right to the left, and there's Peyton. I'm like, I'm calling on her.
Right there. I'd have to say the very first project that I worked on, which was the Martha Jefferson Hospital in Charlottesville. One, because, of course, it was my very first project. And two, it was so big. I learned so much about hospitals in general. There had to be so many different types of ductwork, depending on, if it was a patient room or an OR or even kitchen related. And it had to have so many different, aspects to it. And then, of course, all the med gas. So, when you do surgeries and stuff like that, it actually made me excited to, okay, this is something I did not expect I'd ever do, but I like it. So
sounds
awesome.
good. And then you get to you have that memory that, hey, I worked on this and it's still standing to this day, or
Yep.
I had a hand in making this.
I passed it the other day, and I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah. we have students in our trades classes that they build a house every year. We have they actually physically from the foundation, we purchase the lot, and we buy the material, and the students build it from the foundation to the roof, and they get to, whether they go into the trades or not, for the rest of their lives, they drive past that house and goes, I helped build that.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Yep,
We've had that program. We're on 19 or 20, the house we built.
Really?
Yep.
One every 2 years. And when
Wow.
halfway through the one house, the next lot gets bought.
And all the skilled trades are involved.
Yeah,
in
everything
doing
from
it.
electricity to plumbing, heating and air, the carpentry, masonry, they do all of it.
That's awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so 2 years of experience here, Sarah.
My, I guess my favorite project since I've been here was the one that I was actually able to get out into the field with the guys on. We did a coil replacement at Memorial Regional Hospital on one of their rooftop units, and I got to really see the full scale of the project from start to finish, doing all the coordination up front with ordering the materials, scheduling the crane service, coordinating with the customer as to when we could shut down the unit. And then the project had to be done on a Saturday morning, so I was able to get out in the field with the guys and let me come play with them. So up on the roof, it was pretty scary because I'm afraid of heights, but we got to, see the crane picking the old coil out. I had like 6 guys up on the roof rigging everything together, and it was just a really, really cool experience. And I guess it really helped with the teamwork.
It sounds like a really cool experience, and I ditto that I'm afraid of heights thing. Mike, remember when we had to film?
We were at the Fire Academy, and they put
goodness.
the 2 of us up in the
box
hook and ladder,
yeah.
and they took us all the way as high, fully extended it out, and I'm rocking it, and he's panicking. I'm not a heights fan either. I'm just worried about falling. I wasn't going to fall. We were both in harnesses, so I was fine. I wasn't going anywhere, but he didn't like the fact that I was rocking it.
Somehow the harness did not ease my tension. You know what I mean? A harness, coupled with the fact that I was holding a camera that is county property, trying to film, like we were trying to get an aerial shot of it.
So that's what you were worried about, the camera.
Well, really more so me, not the camera.
Exactly.
But still,
that's what I was thinking.
Still, both of those things. Okay, both of those things. All right, Amber, your turn. Favorite project?
So my projects are actually very short-lived. I travel across the country in order to accomplish them. So I might be on a site for maybe a week and then I'm out again. But one of my favorite aspects of the job is we do something called non-destructive testing. And basically we're looking at ammonia pipes and we're using ultrasonic meters to measure the wall thickness of the piping. What that involves is you've got jacketing that's surrounding these pipes, insulation, so you have to literally, pull this stuff apart, take your test point, reassemble it. But what's cool about it is depending on where you're going in the country, it's not just how they're running their system there, it's also what weather factors are affecting these pipes.
True.
So you got to California where they've got, pretty much a standard climate, all year long. Their pipes generally look pretty good. You come back over here, East Coast, the humidity, the weather, the snow, everything else, and you're like, I don't want to touch that.
So let's clear the air. Which state has the worst pipes? Virginia, we already know.
No, you get further south, Georgia.
Oh, really?
They still get cold snaps.
Yep.
And
they do.
Yeah,
That's true.
With the moisture and the humidity and everything, and then depending on the age of the facility, that makes a huge difference too.
Yeah, I was wondering because you know how Virginia's weather does. We're in that weird part in Virginia where it's really, really cold in the morning, but by the time lunchtime comes around, you can take your jacket off and stuff like that. But born and raised here in Virginia, I've been dealing with it.
And you still aren't dealing with it.
Yeah, man, I'm not acclimated very well in my 28 years of life. I have not.
Wait, you're 55.
Maybe I'll be used to it by the time I'm 55. All right, Michelle, go ahead. Tell us your favorite project you worked on during your time here in Colonial Webb.
I'd probably say the Facebook jobs, like the mechanical rooms, the water rooms, and stuff like that. It's like kind of a long, ongoing process, and at the end of it, we're so happy that we get a break and get to slow down for a second. That it's like, thank God. So I would say those because they keep you busy and the days goes by fast, and like you get overtime and stuff like that. And I've learned a lot with them. I've learned like we're doing 12-inch pipe and like gluing that together, and when you just see it and all the stuff put together, it's just like, wow, that's huge. And yeah, that's just my favorite this far.
Okay, so we are speaking with Colonial Webb's very own Peyton Ford, BIM Supervisor, Sarah Lambeth, Service Coordinator, Amber Taylor, Psm Coordinator. I was going to get it right, guys. I was going to get it right. Michelle and Blaney, Plumbing Apprentice here on Henrico CTE now. Guys, I want to ask you guys this. So when did you guys know that working in this industry or this particular job was for you? And we'll go right back to Michelle.
I've always had an interest in being like active and like building and using my hands for stuff. I'm still kind of like unsure of what direction I want to go. I'm in college too for business, because down the road, if I want to start my business, I can have that as well. So
this is definitely a skill you can use. To
yeah.
start a business.
And it just goes back to the point of like having good bosses. I'm putting like my faith in them that they're going to lead me in a direction, because I'm unsure at this point, like if I want to be in a manager role or in like a owning your own business role. So right now I'm just like I'm happy being told what to do, and like that's how I knew.
You're sponging it all in. You're soaking it all in.
When I just like they're just telling me all this stuff of like where I can go from here. I told my boss that the other day. I don't really care about anything. I just hope that you put me in a spot to where like I do not remain, like I'm not stagnant. I just want to keep moving forward, and whatever that means, that's what it means. So like when I built that relationship with my bosses, that's when I knew that I'm good where I'm at right now. So.
It certainly sounds like you are in good hands, though. I mean, from
feel
what
like
we've heard.
I am, yeah.
And I think that, like you said, it even helps with your job performance and everything, that you can trust the leadership here at Colonial Webb. All right, Sarah?
It took a few years probably after I was working with my family's company. I was kind of aimless at that point. I had just come from like a job at McDonald's where I was a manager, and this was like my first like grown up job. So it took a while before I really found my niche, but once I started like getting into more things and doing more things hands on, and I found out I was actually kind of good at what I was doing. So that reinforced it for me, and the things that I've learned and been able to gain, it really kind of put me in that direction.
Yeah, sometimes you don't know if you like it or don't like it until you're actually walking the talk. You know what I mean? Talking the talk and walking the walk. There you go. I don't know what I was talking about. Can you do that? Is that even physically possible? No, it's not. Amber, all right, your turn.
So I think that for me, it was really when I woke up and I had to come to work, and I didn't mind coming to work.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to,
Agreed.
All right, hey, there's something here for me. And especially in my field, because it is such a niche thing, even within the construction industry, like my husband, he actually works for the company too, and he's like, I didn't even know that was here. I didn't know it was something that Colonial Webb offered.
Right.
It was such a niche thing within the industry that there's huge amounts of job security here, and so that's absolutely, one of the bigger driving factors too.
All right, and Peyton? I saved you for last this time.
Time to explode. When I figure out, I'll let you know.
That's an acceptable answer, actually.
I'd have to say 3 months in, just the high pace, the new, the different, and everything is constantly changing. I was sold.
You were sold. As soon as you were 3 months in, you're like, hey, this is what I want. This is what I enjoy doing. That sounds like me coming into this job right here, because I've always wanted a job in media, but this job actually helps me. This job is actually a way for me to give back in a way, also helping the folks in the neighborhood that I grew up in. I grew up here in Henrico County, so I get to drop some knowledge on the youth, about different opportunities and career opportunities out there. Speaking of the youth, we got a whole panel full of women here, all successful, all growing to be successful in a field like the skills trades field. Why do you think women should consider a job in this field? I'm gonna start with Amber.
So one of the things that I've actually heard from my male counterparts is we are so detailed oriented.
Yes.
That managing projects, managing these types of jobs, we excel at it. We can help say, hey guys, look, you need to redirect your focus here because you're not seeing big picture or you're not seeing the minutia. So I think that's one of the biggest deals. We have that skill, we have the ability to multitask, and that makes us very effective at what we do.
That's one of the things that we hear quite often, especially when our masonry classes. They're like, the women do a lot cleaner work in masonry. Apparently, that's how that goes. Michelle, why should a woman consider a job here in the skills trades industry?
Well, mainly what she said was correct. I've had coworkers tell me, "Man, we needed that woman's touch around here. If like we get to a slow point at work, I'll just start picking up stuff and cleaning it and organizing it."
And the guys are just looking around like, what is she doing? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, now we got to get up.
But yeah,
That's probably more of it right there. Now we got to get up.
There's a whole lot of women that are like interested in. I know electrical for sure. I know quite a few women that are interested in that, and I think that it's been dominated by males for so long. I just think it'd be really cool to see more women get involved doing it. And I didn't even think of the aspect of like managers and supervisors and stuff like that. I was just thinking of solely like the hands-on like labor factor of it. But it's cool to see women in other roles like coordinators and supervisors. That is cool.
Yeah,
really
we want to see you guys at all levels. All levels.
that is sweet.
Your perspective is certainly needed at all levels.
And
Peyton,
that's what I'm seeing.
sorry.
In the research that I've done, that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I mean, when you talk about trying to break into an industry, it's not just at the bottom. I mean, they're coming in everywhere. I mean, the more stories that I read, it's just, like I said, everything from the laborer to the owner.
All right, Peyton, give me your perspective. Why should women consider a career here in the skilled trades field?
I completely agree with Amber. I mean, we are multitaskers. We're organized, and maybe even a little bit on the aspect of nurturers. When it comes to being a supervisor, we care a little bit more about our people because we want to make sure they develop just as well as we did. So,
And guys are willing to confide in us more so than they are their male counterparts.
Oh, yes. Guys like
Really?
to talk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to be
they're huge
more
gossips.
vulnerable.
Oh, yeah.
They're huge gossips?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
Y'all are spilling all the tea on the on the guys working there. So did I get to you?
I can't imagine the conversations we're y'all gonna hear when they hear this.
Did I get to you, Sarah? Did I get your perspective on this? No.
No.
Okay, so Sarah, tell me how you feel about it. How are you feeling about it? Why should women consider a career in this skilled trades industry?
So also what Amber was saying, the different perspective that we bring, and to some degree, I just like being in a non-traditional role where they don't expect me to have the answer that I have. And
wow.
But you do.
I do.
But you do.
I can back it up.
Yep.
But, I like the challenge of it. I like just the non-traditional role. I like having the knowledge and being, a source of information that people really don't expect you to have.
All right. So, and how can we attract more women to these jobs? How do you guys feel like? What do you think we can do? Even at the high school level, we have classes that typically lead to these careers. Mac, our director, wants us to have the students leave either enrolled, enlisted, or employed. We're talking about the employed part right here. So what do you think we can do to attract more students to take these courses or maybe go down this career path? And I'm going to pick on Peyton.
Especially
again,
the young ladies, to try and get them to get over that hump.
Especially the young ladies.
Is this something to even consider? Because when we talk to the students, when we break off and the skilled trades go over to this corner of the room, the girls don't follow. The girls don't follow.
Yeah, the girls don't follow.
But they show up and sign up.
Yeah,
it's weird because you're like,
weird.
We got 3 kids, we got 3 young ladies in the masonry class at one time. How'd that happen?
Yeah,
I didn't talk to any of them.
Because
we were actively recruit. We talk to our students and talk to them, and they come and ask questions, and we say, and ask them what their interests are, and try and feel out, is this something that's going to be a good fit for them? And actively say, give it a shot. If this is something that you have even a remote interest in, what's it going to hurt to try it out? It's not going to cost you anything. Why not?
Right.
What else you got to do?
Absolutely. So Peyton, I'm picking on you again, only because Peyton's. You guys don't see it, but Peyton's facial expressions are
they kill me.
best. They are the best. So it kind of makes me want to ask Peyton more questions.
Because you just want to know what the next expression is going to be.
What is she thinking right now? What is she thinking?
I should hide my facial expressions. Everybody tells me that. So I think it's more or less we are used to not getting dirty. Pretty, glittery, crafty, but growing up, you always had the push towards let's do dresses, let's do dolls, let's paint
the more traditional type deals, right?
Right. Whereas, this industry isn't that. It's automatically assumed construction, dirty, gross, everything like that. But they don't see. I guess it's education because younger kids don't see that there's other aspects of what construction can be. Yes, we all work in construction, but we're in an office. We don't get dirty. Well,
Right.
most of us. Sorry.
I'm used to it.
She's fine.
But, and it's but we also need to let them know that it's okay to get dirty.
Right.
Get dirty.
Get
Get
dirty.
that stuff underneath your fingernails. The satisfaction of doing it with your hands, it's unbelievable to have. So we need to push women to feel that, to know that. I'm so sorry. A man doesn't have to do it for you.
Why are you apologizing?
Because I always get this look. Really?
No, tell us how
And
you feel.
and because we're the only 2 guys in the room. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
No, you're good. No, absolutely. Tell us how you feel.
But no, just like what you're saying, I think this is with any industry. I don't care if it's trades or not. Students aren't thinking outside of the box on the opportunities that a particular industry or company, if you drill it down that far, offer. You can say, oh, I don't want to go and do auto mechanic work. Yeah, but you could be an estimator. You could work in the office doing accounting. You could do, because that keeps coming up. There's so many different, every company has the accountants and has the estimators and has the laborers and the managers and the engineers. It doesn't matter what the company is. I mean, everybody at McDonald's has a job doing a thing, whether they're at the front counter or they're back cooking the fries. It doesn't really matter. You got to look at it. And I think what surprises people is that when they're, oh my gosh, how'd I get here? It's not what I thought it was going to be, but I took a chance. You know,
you got to take that chance. Sometimes you do have to take that chance. Michelle, I want to get your perspective on it though, as a girl who does get dirty with the equipment.
Well, I mean, I think.
How do you think we can attract more?
I think in today's age, it's social media, because all these kids with their TikToks and their I sound like an old person right now, and I'm not. But I'm not really.
You're talking sense to me.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's like a promotion, like attraction to it, and awareness. Like if there was, I'm sure with COVID it's kind of hard right now, but if you went out to some schools with a group of females and they're like telling you all the jobs and how cool it is, and like, look, you don't even got to go sit in class, you don't got to be bored, you can come do such and such and such and such and make good money. Like you gotta like promote it to and bring awareness to it. I guess that's the only way that you could, unless someone like naturally has an interest in it. But I don't, besides attract like social media and stuff like that, I don't see them like figuring it out by themselves. I don't really know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we got to be where they are. That's absolutely true. And a lot of students are on TikTok, doing their TikToks and doing their Instagrams and on the YouTubes and on the Twitters. I don't know if the kids use the Twitter anymore. The YouTubes.
Yeah.
Did you say YouTubes?
YouTubes, the Uest of tubes. Okay, all right. And then Amber, what's your take on this?
So I think because there is still such a stigma about, hey, girls can't do this job, having almost a female-only question and answer session, where it's like they feel comfortable asking questions to another female,
That's smart, yeah.
Within the industry, say, hey,
light bulb. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's excellent. I love that.
So it's like they don't feel like all the guys are watching them thinking, hey, it's a stupid question, because they don't know.
That's true.
So having a female-to-female interaction where they can sit down and ask all the questions they feel are dumb, but aren't.
It removes the intimidation factor.
It removes the intimidation factor.
Okay.
That is
Thank you for that. Oh my gosh, that's insanely intelligent. I love that. No, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Yes. It is brilliant. I love that.
It knocks out all the insecurities. I think that's a good idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then we want.
It fits along the line that what I've been seeing with the kids as a whole, but I never separated the two.
Right.
That's smart.
Because I've seen the herd mentality when we do our recruiting.
Right.
And I never separated the boys from the girls till just now.
Yep.
Separate them so they don't feel
well,
so
get back
intimidated.
to us on how that works out.
Listen to our podcast. We'll talk about it once we get it to work.
What do you mean get back to you? We're about to bother Mitch and be like, can we have him come out?
Yeah, he's going to come out and talk to the kids.
I would love to.
And all right, so Sarah, your turn. Give us your take on it.
I think also destigmatizing the traditional career path with college, and that's the only way to be successful.
Yeah,
and
that is a hard speed bump to run over top of. I mean,
it is,
that's
especially like you were saying, dealing with parents, because that's every parent wants their kid to go to college and get a degree, but that's not always the quickest or most direct route.
If that's exactly what you want to do,
that's the path.
By all means,
yes.
But
don't just go to go. And I feel like a lot of people do that.
If you don't have a direction necessarily, going to college, you're possibly getting a degree in something that you don't want to pursue.
Right.
Whereas if you have a natural inclination towards something mechanical or whatever, you know, you can follow that route and get there a lot quicker than.
Well, they're struggling to find tradespeople, and then there's other people that are going through college and then can't find a job at the end of it.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, like, we can't find good tradespeople. It's kind of crazy.
Sometimes it works the reverse way. So they come out of college and say, you know what, I'm gonna go pick up a trade. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's
I'm going to get an IT
Mm-hmm.
certification. I'm gonna get CompTIA or whatever, and then they end up in IT, which is good. It falls within what we teach, but not necessarily a trade. But one of those things you need certain certifications. To be able to work in certain parts of that field.
I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before, but I've told the story that I read this. Somebody did a study, and it was in the plumbing field, and it was the way they took two guys coming out of high school. One went to trade school, became a plumber. The other one went to medical school to become a doctor. Now, of course, medical school, they had to start off with regular college before they went to doctor school, and they start counting how much money it cost them. Trade school, usually the unions pay for it, or the company that they go to work for will pay for their education.
We're seeing a lot, especially with the deficit. We're seeing a lot of people getting their education paid for.
Exactly. So it takes until the doctor catches up with the plumber, just doing plumbing work, not necessarily in the office, but I'm just talking out there in the field with the, you know, they've done their 4-year apprenticeship. In a year, 2 years after they get out of that, they've got their van, they're running a crew, and the money that they're making, it takes the doctor till he reaches 40 years of age before he catches up with the plumber.
What?
Because you got to think of all the college you got to pay back,
Right.
And put off on buying the house, put off on the, you know, all. By the time they get out of college and start doing real doctor work, the plumber's already got the boat, goes camping on the weekends and with the camper and having fun with the family. And the doctor's like, he's working, 12-hour, 15-hour days. It's just crazy. And it was a really cool study about how long it took for the doctor to catch up with the plumber.
Right.
It's really
and again, I really want to emphasize there's absolutely nothing wrong with going to college. If that's what
I'm not hammering on it. No.
Yeah,
if that's what you want to, if that's what you want to do, if you want to be a doctor, you have to go to school. You have to put those hours in. Is there any women in particular in your life in the trades that's inspired you? And you can raise your hand if you want to. Not everybody at once.
You don't necessarily have to have an answer either. Looking at everybody's faces.
Is there anybody maybe in the trade? Oh, Michelle. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lady that works in sheet metal actually, and I remember this last summer we were just like loaded with work, 60 hours plus, and she was just getting it. And I'm saying like working circles around people, and I was like, you know what? If I can grow up and like if I can like get to half of to be half of what she is, like she's just going strong. And I'm sitting here about to tap out, like I'm not working overtime today. I'm about to leave, and she's just getting it. I just thought, I don't know, for some reason that inspired me that like that's pretty cool. She's just like still killing everybody in here. So yeah, I just like looked up to that. So that was cool.
That's awesome.
Anybody else you got around the room? Amber?
Susan Parker. She's one of our top supervisors here at Colonial Webb. When I was coming out of accounting and trying to figure out what I was going to do, I wasn't sure if I was going to get the job at that point, and she said, you know what, I know who you are, I know your work ethic. If you don't get that position, I'm going to find something for you. So having someone here who's saying, look, you do what we need you to do, we're going to take care of you, and being a woman who's there pushing other women to excel in this industry, I mean, just that little bit was awesome coming up.
All right. Sarah, anybody?
I work with so many fabulous women here. They all inspire me in different ways. I think not necessarily in the trade. My mom was very strong my whole life about not sticking to gender roles, and if there's anything that I want to do, I can do it. So,
absolutely, it's important to hear that. Peyton?
A woman actually here at Colonial?
It didn't have to be a woman here. I said it was kind of like
so far it's been
life.
Colonial only.
Yeah, so far it doesn't have to just be Colonial Webb, but yeah, in life at Colonial Webb, if they happen to be here.
I would have to say my stepmom. I mean, when her and my dad first started seeing each other, she was a single mother of 2. She had 3 jobs. She was going to school so she could better herself to take care of her kids, and
a real grinder.
She just, I mean, do what Meemaw does.
Awesome.
All right, well, I'm going to say thank you guys so much for hanging out with us for an hour just about, Mike. I didn't realize we were going that long, but when the conversation starts flowing and you have this many guests.
We've got 4 great ladies here that were, well, women here. That probably not been the right word these days, but I'm just saying, everybody here is just super strong, great stories, great backgrounds, just awesome stories to tell, and definitely very, very successful.
They thank you guys so much for making an appearance here on Henrico CTE Now. All right,
Thanks
guys.
for having us.
And
Thank you.
before I let you guys go, I want to remind you, check us out on our social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all at the handle Henrico CTE. Check out HenricoCTE.com to stay up to date on everything that we have going on. Mike, tell them where else they can find the podcast.
You can find the podcast on Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, all your major and minor podcast venues. Check us out.
All right.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Do whatever you have to do so you can get notified every other week when we drop new episodes, new knowledge about different things we have going on in the industry. All right, guys, that's it for us, for Peyton Ford, for Sarah Lambeth, for Michelle Blaney, for Amber Taylor, and for Mike Roberts. I am Rashawn Garnett, and this is it for Henrico CTE Now. Until next time, so long, everyone.